how do your plants look so nice? Are they real plants? Of course, all of them are real plants. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about the most searched video on YouTube and the clickbaity title, How to Take Care of Your Succulents. Succulents are the only plants which look exactly the same as you get them from the nursery, don't they? If they don't, then here are some mistakes you're doing with your succulents. The first mistake people tend to do with succulents is overwatering them. And how do you water a succulent? Now, imagine you are in a desert and the plant is in a desert. Imagine yourself to be a plant. How will you get watered? Will you get watered that often? No. Succulents in the desert dig deep into the soil in the desert and grab the water or suck the water from the underwater streams. But being a desert, does it have underwater streams? No. It has a very sparse supply of water, and that is how these desert plants or succulents are designed. Hence, they need to be watered just once in a month. Low maintenance, right? The second mistake people do with keeping the succulents is they keep it in a place which doesn't get bright direct sunlight, a spot where you cannot stand for more than 1 minute without wearing sunglasses. This is the ideal spot for succulents. And like I showed in one of my previous reels or shorts on YouTube, I have placed all my succulents in a window which is completely covered. It's a glass window. It gets direct sunlight 2 to 3 hours in the morning, and that is how they get protected from rain. So if that's your question of how to protect them from rain, keep it in a window which is locked and gets sunlight 2 to 3 hours in a day, and they will be completely fine. The third mistake people do with succulents is that they keep it as ornamental things, right in the middle of the house or right where your kid can grab them or your dog can knock them off. What will it do? This will lead to the succulent falling down and breaking into pieces. Succulents are desert plants, of course, yes, they are hardy, but if you touch their stems, they are really very delicate. And if you see the bunny cactus here, it's so cute and sweet, but if you touch it a little bit hard, like you touch a dumbbell, it is going to break and fall apart. This is because the desert plant, God made this mechanism of storing water inside them, and hence their stems are too delicate. So if you keep it right in the middle of the house and it gets knocked off, it has so happened that my succulent has got knocked off by my dog wagging its tail, and it's broken into million pieces, and that succulent has died a hardy death. So don't do this. Keep it in a window which receives a lot of sunlight like in the desert, and it's out of reach because it's also pointy and it really pricks hard. Now, because these succulents look so cute, I get a lot of requests from a lot of my friends to source succulents for their office setup. Now, if your office is right in the middle of the desert, then succulent is the right plant for you. Otherwise, it's going to wither away and die, or it is going to get pumped up and swollen full of juice and rot. So offices are not meant to be a place where succulents can be kept. And my God, please stop asking me this question of where to keep the succulent. It's a desert plant. Keep it in a condition which resembles a desert. This is a bunny ear cactus. Its leaves are cute like little bunnies coming out. This is a jade plant, and this is an amazing succulent that I got at a steal deal in a local nursery. It has these blue thorns coming out. It resembles a Haworthia, and it was also flowering a lot. I love this succulent. It's one of my favorite, but I really don't know the name. If I find the name, I'll link it in the description box below. Guys, if you know the name of this cactus, be sure to comment and let me know in the comment section below, because I really don't know. This is one of my favorite cactuses here, and doesn't it look like the one we just plucked from a desert? I get this question a lot where people ask me how I propagate my succulents. Now, succulents are plants which cannot be cut or which cannot be propagated as such. But the moment I started doing this video, my succulent fell off because it was overgrown. You know, this one fell off from right here, and this is how you propagate them when they fall off. Now, cactuses have a lot of these thorns on it, but the one which is ready to be propagated, like this one, is soft and mushy. It doesn't have anything. Now here you can see that this part of the cactus has dried up, so this is useless. We can't propagate it in this way. We'll have to either propagate it this way or cut a little bit of it so that it goes inside nicely. Now let me show you how I cut this up. I'm taking my cactus right here. I'm showing you how to propagate a succulent or a desert plant. Now I'm cutting it up like this. This will also show me how healthy my cactus is. Yes, it's very very healthy because no juice is coming out of it. If it was not healthy and overwatered, it would be oozing out watery substances out of it. Now this is how I will propagate the cactus. Okay. Now we have to be very careful because when it pricks really hard, and I am trying to push it down as much as possible. I think it's going to need some kind of a support. You have to be very careful. You can't use dumbbell hands to press it down like really hard, like we gym and press or pull our weights on a pull day. That is the strategy which is not going to work for any plant here. I'm gently placing it down without breaking its stem. Yes, that's it. And because I'm really afraid of these pricking me, I'm using the ulta part of the scissor to push it even further. Yeah, now it's gone. There is one more which is broken, and this stem looks nice, but I'll just cut it here. Yes, this is also healthy, and because it's straight, it's really easy to push it down. Speaking about the propagation, this is how you propagate a succulent. It will not happen that you will be able to propagate it on your own. Though there are a lot of videos where you cut down the leaves of a succulent and then water it, but my god, that's an extremely difficult thing to do and requires a lot of patience, which I do not have. So I find this method to be the best, or I just buy new succulents from the shop. Now, because I was like putting it in the soil, propagating it in the soil, let me talk a little bit about the succulent soil, which is one of my favorite soils to make. This is not standing. It will need some kind of a balanced structure like this, or it's not gone in properly. We'll have to dig a hole and put it inside. Okay. This is broken here. Okay, because I maybe used my dumbbell hands to like push it right in, but the safest way is to make a hole, make a place for the stem to go inside so that it receives right amount of nutrients and doesn't fall off again. Because propagating a plant is something which you do maybe once in a year and then neglect the plant or forget about it. Who will propagate every day? Yeah. So the succulent soil is a very interesting soil mixture. You will have to take just 40% of clay soil, 40% of vermiculite, add a little bit of leca, that is lightweight expandable clay aggregate, to it. And if you have added vermiculite, there is no compulsion that you add perlite, but if you want to, you can. So then it becomes 40% clay soil, 30% vermiculite, 10% perlite, and you add cocoa barks in it so that this mixture becomes really light and airy. And like I have told you in my last video, I have added compost as a fertilizer, which is the best fertilizer. I make it at home and just add it on top of this. One mistake that you have to completely avoid is to add coco peat to any kind of a desert plant mixture or a succulent mixture. That is the biggest mistake here, and gardeners like nursery centers or plant centers often give succulents with a lot of coco peat, but that in the long run is 100% sure to damage the health of your desert plant. Because why? Ask this question, why? Why? Because coco peat retains moisture. Desert plants or succulents do not need moisture. So we spoke about the light conditions of these succulents, we spoke about the soil, we spoke about watering, which is just once in a month. I also showed you how I propagated my cactus, and fertilization is also being spoken about. You can fertilize your succulents maybe once in a month, and a little bit of compost is just okay for them. And repotting a succulent is a very tricky job. So don't repot it until your pot is bursting out of the succulent, or your pot is broken or something like that. Do not try and repot a succulent, and if you are, and if it is one like this, be sure that you're wearing gloves, because these tiny thorns really get stuck to your fingers and make your life really difficult. So how did you like our succulent special on the Connect with Your Plant series? Do let me know. If you know the name of this plant, make sure that you drop it in the comment section below. Subscribe so that our channel keeps on glowing and growing, and do not forget to share it with your friends. So till that time, it's a big bye from me. Happy planting!